Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Moonbound Silence. Episode 3. Chapter 11 to 15. After about 10 minutes, Jasper came out in nothing but a towel, and I got a closer look at his amazing body. Immediately the warm feeling came back. Sarin! Jasper shouted and ran into the closet. I couldn't help but laugh a little when I realized I may have stirred Blade again. Knock, knock, I heard Milan. Hi, come on in, Jasper is changing in the closet, she came over to me. I see you put all of your stuff away. Yeah, Jasper helped. Did you show him all of you got? No, that's private. Private? Sarin, you're his mate, there's is no such thing as privacy when it comes to mates. Well, we haven't mated yet, so I'm going to keep my undergarments private until then, she was going to say something when Jasper came back out. Milan. Alpha, I came by to get Sarin so I can help her get ready for the dinner, he nodded and walked out. What's his problem? She asked me. I think it's my fault. What happened? Something about me getting aroused and stirring his wolf. Oh, ha ha ha. That will do it. What's so funny? Sarin babe, we're werewolves, once we find our mates, it's almost impossible to not have sex immediately, but Jasper is struggling right now because you're so innocent and unfortunately to say, naive. Is that bad? Not bad, just inconvenient for him. He loves you, and he wants you, bad, but he's being patient because he doesn't want to force you. But your body and your wolf know what it wants, and it wants Jasper's you until you see stars. Her words made me blush and become so flustered, I had to grab my face to hide how red it was getting. It's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about, it's natural, and when you're ready, you will know when to give in to those desires. I nodded my head. Now, let's get you dolled up. Okay, we went into my closet, grabbed the dress we bought today, and the pretty ballet flats. Milan wanted me to buy heels, but I had never worn them before, so we settled on pretty flats instead. She made me take a quick shower, so I did. When I was dry and wrapped in a towel, she dried my hair and curled it for me. Every section she curled, she pinned up so it would hold the curl all night. I would have to learn to do all of this eventually. After she pinned the last section of hair, she did my makeup. I had never worn makeup before, this was a whole new experience for me. As she did it, she was trying to tell me which product was which, where it went, how much I should put on, and everything else in between. It was just too much information and my poor brain was on information overload. After the makeup was done, she unpinned all of my hair and ran her fingers through my scalp. Milan didn't let me see until she completely finished everything. All right, what do you think? She asked, gesturing me to turn around and face the mirror. I gasped at my own reflection. My hair was shiny and carried so many curls, but it didn't look puffy or overly done. My makeup was light and natural, and the eyeshadow she used made my chocolate eyes stand out a lot more. Wow, I don't even recognize myself. You look amazing, Milan said, running her fingers through my curls once more and then spraying it with hairspray. Now let's go put on your dress. I nodded my head and went into the bedroom. I put on a pair of clean underwear that I had brought with me, that we bought earlier in the day. Milan helped me with the dress we bought. It was a dark green long-sleeve dress that was lace along the C.hest and sleeves and flowed out ever so slightly just above the knees. I was a little hesitant showing off my legs, but Milan insisted. She took me back into the bathroom to make finishing touches. Knock, Knock, ladies, is it safe to come in? Jasper asked. Yes, come on in Alpha, we're just about done, Milan called out. Wow, now you really look like a Luna, Milan said while I looked at me through the standing mirror in the bathroom. I couldn't help but smile looking back at myself. This is incredible, thank you Milan. You're welcome, now, let's go show the Alpha. But, what if he doesn't like it? Girl, please, you look like $1,000,000, no straight man on this planet would not like the way you look right now, come on, she said pulling my arm. Jasper's P.O.V. I was waiting in the commons area of the bedroom for Sarin and Milan to come out. I was getting anxious because I really wanted to see what Sarin looked like. Knowing Milan, she more than likely kept light and natural, which is exactly what I wanted. This was just a dinner, an introduction, so there was really no need for anything too fancy. When I finally saw the bathroom door open, Milan came out first and smiled at me. She winked once before stepping aside, revealing Sarin. My jaw dropped and my DCK immediately hardened the sight before me. Sarin looked like a walking Barbie, only even more beautiful. I was right about Milan having kept everything natural, but Sarin still looked stunning. I had never seen Sarin's legs before, but I could say one thing about them. Even though she was thin, Sarin still had a toned body, and my assumption was that it was from all the labor she did growing up. I could not wait to spread those legs and bury myself deep inside of her. Wow, wow, I was speechless. Do you like it? She asked sweetly. Alpha, we need you to say actual sentences, not just words of stupidness, Milan said. I growled at her and she smiled, shaking her head. Well, I need to get ready myself, so I will leave you two alone. Alpha, I know she looks S.XY and all, but please don't ruin the work I put in, she waved and left the room, closing the door behind her. I walked over to Sarin to get an even better look at her, and Blade was going absolutely bonkers in the back of my mind. Sarin, you look beautiful, she gave me a genuine smile and looked at me with her chocolate eyes. I gently grabbed her PS and brought her close to me. She put her hands on my forearms, rubbed them gently. The feeling she gave me at that moment was so unreal. I leaned into KSS her, but she turned her cheek. I'm sorry, but Milan said not to ruin her work. I think that applies to kissing. Wow, you're siding with Milan, she smiled and nodded. You get dressed too, she said and pushed me towards the closet. I took one more look at her and finally went to change my own clothes. Thank you, Moon Goddess. Chapter 11. Sarin's POV. As Jasper and I made our way down to dinner, I was almost starstruck when I saw that the pack house had been decorated with streamers and balloons. Jasper was dressed in black buttoned long sleeve, black pants, and black shoes. He eat his hair back and he had a gold necklace on. His clothes almost looked a little too tight on his body, which showed off how incredibly masculine and muscular he really was. The sight of him made my body heat up again, but this time it wasn't just me. I could sense more than a few women eyeing him, even though I was right next to him. Callie growled in the back of my mind. Jasper walked me outside to the back of the castle where there were tables and chairs set up all over. Wow, how was everyone able to put this all together in just a span of a few hours? I asked Jasper. My mother has her way, believe me, he responded. This is too much, I thought we're just going to introduce me, and that was it. I felt myself getting really nervous, and I immediately wanted to run away and hide. I didn't like being the center of attention because the majority of the time it was because I was getting beaten whenever I was. Why couldn't you just send a massive mind link? I would much rather hide than go through all of this, I truthfully said to him as we walked through a crowd of people. Most of which bowed to us and just smiled. Some just kind of stared, not knowing what to do when they saw me. Dearest, you're not just someone being invited into the pack, you're the future Luna, and everyone needs to see your face. It's a matter of mutual respect. The pack, knowing who you are, will show them that they must show respect to you at all times, and you seeing them shows that you respect them. I didn't have a response to that because it occurred to me that he was right, and I hated it. Fine, I mumbled and pouted, hoping that he would change his mind. That's not going to work this time, baby, I pouted again, only this time it was because he was immune to it. My goodness, don't you look absolutely stunning? Grace said, running up to me and giving me a warm hug. This dress suits you well, sweetheart, it definitely goes with your blonde hair and chocolate eyes. Milan also did a wonderful job on your hair and makeup. Thank you, Auntie Grace, Milan answered while coming up to us. She and Jason were holding hands, and I realized that Jasper and I weren't. I just shrugged it off. We stood there a minute and talked a bit, but Grace went off to do some last-minute finishing touches. Jason and Milan went their own way to mingle with pack members. Jasper had to take care of one last piece of business with this dad, so he left me alone. Even though I wasn't supposed to be alone, but he felt that it would be okay since Jason and Milan were nearby. I walked around the humongous backyard of the palace and took in the scenery. Even though it was already getting dark out, I could still see the path that led to a beautiful in-ground fountain. The waterspout was shaped like a wolf howling, and the water also a dark clear blue like the lake. The path around the fountain went in both directions and also straight across that led into a maze. I always wondered why castles had mazes, I found it strange, but this was short and you can see over it. I walked to the fountain and sat on the edge of it. I looked up into the night sky and saw the moon about halfway into the sky, and stars were starting to appear. I inhaled deeply and enjoyed the brisk fall air for a moment before heading back. When I got there though, the sight bestowed before me made my heart instantly shatter. There was Jasper, with a tall brunette all over him. She was hugging his WAST and giving him a look of LUST. Jasper and I locked eyes for a brief moment, and a stray tear I didn't know that formed fell from my eye. I turned around and left. Jasper's POV. Dearest, I need to take care of something with my dad real quick, you stay here and enjoy the backyard. Okay, I quickly ran inside to meet my dad in his office on the second floor. The party was about to start, so I was hoping he would make this quick. Dad, I said, knocking on the door and opening it. You needed to see me. I did, son, come in. Make it quick, I left Sarin alone, and I don't want her to get lonely. It will be quick, come take a look at this, he pushed a book towards me. What is this? I was speaking to the elders about Eric and what he had done to Riley. I told them who Riley was, and they instantly showed me this. I looked down at the book and read the section he pointed at. A wolf born to two pure-blooded alphas is known as a primordial. The primordial wolf is the most powerful werewolf in existence, and no werewolf can match their power. They possess abilities that normal werewolves do not. Their abilities are unknown until they are mated, marked, and shift for the first time on the night of the first full moon after they become of age. They are rare, beautiful, and are sought after not only for their blood but for their abilities as well. It is said that a primordial wolf is so rare that only one is born every few hundred years and are typically male. However, if there is ever a female primordial, she will be the rarest of all. Her powers are said to be limitless, and she will have no weaknesses. Her strengths will be twice as powerful as that of a normal wolf. Her speed, strength, and ability to heal will be unfathomable. They will even be more magnified under the full moon. If a female primordial is ever born, and she finds a mate, who also happens to be a pure-blooded alpha, their union will create the strongest bond to ever exist. What the hell? I said to myself out loud and then looked back up to my dad. Son, the elders believe that Sarin is a primordial, and they want her to be protected at all costs. Once you and Sarin mate and become fully bonded, her powers will come to life, and we have to help her take control of them. Especially if they are as limitless as the ancient texts say. Dad, this is too much. In the last 72 hours, Sarin's life has done a complete 180, and she's just now getting somewhat comfortable. I can't spring this information on her. Son, we don't have a choice. If Sarin is as powerful as the elders think she is, she needs to be protected, and that means knowing the truth. This could not be happening. I knew better than to question the elders. They were wise beyond their years, and that was saying a lot because they were over 100 years old. This was just a lot for me to handle. I knew my dad was right though. I needed to tell Sarin, but I figured that today was just too premature. I would tell her in the next few days after she got a little more comfortable. I went back out to the backyard to find Sarin, but instead, I was greeted with the biggest regret of my life. Hi, baby, she said as she hooked her arm with mine. I pushed her arm away. What do you want, Leila? What I always want, and that's to please you. Get away from me, I tell her and try to push her away, but she immediately wraps her around my waist. Come on, don't fight it, you no want me, she said with a lustful look. I was about to tell her to off when the scent of chamomile hit me. I looked up and saw Sarin staring, and then a tear fell from her eyes. She immediately turned her heel and ran away. I pushed Leila off of me and ran to find Sarin. Jasper, she screamed after me. Leila was the biggest mistake I ever made. I had to find Sarin and fix this. I didn't want to her think the worst. I followed her scent and found her sitting on a bench in the east maze in a corner where no one could see her. She was sobbing. Sarin, she didn't move. Baby, I'm so sorry, that's not what it looked like. Still no response. Sarin, please, you have to believe me. You said you loved me. I do. Sarin, I do love you, please. I knelt down in front of her to get her to look at me. Sarin, she means nothing, she's no one to me. You seem to mean a lot to her. I don't care about her, I care about you. She seems to be more your type, why not just make it work, and I can just leave. Sarin, stop it. I pulled her to her feet and hugged her as tight as I could. Sarin, she's the furthest thing from my type. Jasper, this isn't fair, I didn't say anything. I don't know what to do when I'm with you or how to act. I saw Jason and Milan holding hands, and I wanted to hold yours, but I didn't know how to with making it seem awkward. I want to be in your arms like this all the time, but I'm afraid to do it first because I don't want to look stupid. When I saw her arms around you, she seemed like she just fit and looked natural. I don't know how to do that. Dearest, I'm so sorry, I really am, I replied and lifted her chin to look at me. Sarin, I won't pretend I know what you're going through or how you feel, because I don't, but what I do know is that only girl or woman I will ever want to be with is you, and only you. I don't care about anyone else. You are the most important person in my life now, and I will do whatever it takes to prove my love to you. I gave her a gentle kiss and cradled her head against my chest. Just then, I got a mind link from my mother. Jasper, where are you? The party is about to begin. I'm sorry, mother, there was an incident in the backyard, and I need to comfort Sarin. We will be there shortly. What happened? I will tell you later, just please stall a few more minutes. Okay. Jasper. Yes, beautiful. Who was she? The biggest mistake of my life. That doesn't answer the question. Her name is Leila. I had sex with her about a year ago, and I actually took her virginity. Ever since then, she has been trying to get me to sleep with her again, and even spread rumors that we were a couple. Were you ever a couple? No, never. I was drunk and frustrated because I wanted a mate, and this was obviously when I was still under the impression you were dead. Leila was just there, she had just turned 20 and still had no mate of her own, so I took her bed just for the sake of getting out my frustration. I didn't know she was virgin at the time until she told me the next morning. Is there something wrong with being virgin? Is your case? No, I'm glad you are, but in any other woman's case, I tended to steer clear from them because of situations like what happened with Leila, they get attached. I couldn't afford that to happen, but it did. Sarin didn't say anything. I'm sorry you had to see that. I swear I was going to push her away, but your scent caught my attention and you ran away before I could. So, you do love me then? I love you so much, baby. Remember, I promised you that you can keep me forever. She chuckled a little bit. That made me sigh in relief. If you're feeling better, we need to get back, everyone is waiting on us. I don't think Milan is going to happy, she said. Why not? I'm pretty sure my crying messed up her work. I looked down at her and studied her face. Thankfully, there was enough moonlight. I wipe her tears and the small smudges of makeup around her eyes. There, perfect, I tell her. I take her hand and we head back to the party. Once we are back, we go up to the platform and take our seats at the head table. My dad then takes center stage. Members of Blue Lake, I wanted to sincerely apologize for the delayed start of this party, however, there was a small mishap that needed to be dealt with. Now that everyone is in attendance, I wanted to take this time to share a bit of good news. He smiled and looked at Sarin and me. I held her hand under the table and interlocked our fingers. Her hand just fit in mine so perfectly. I am happy to say that my son, our alpha, Jasper Valencia, has found his mate. People immediately started to cheer and whistle. My dad gestured for us to stand and join him center stage. Sarin and I got up and stood next to him. Members of Blue Lake, I give you, Sarin Calloway, your future Luna. Sarin bowed her head and the crowd erupted in a massive cheer that echoed through the mountains. It was so loud that you could hear the windows of the castle shaking. I held up my hand to get everyone to quiet down. Thank you, members of Blue Lake. It is an honor that I present to you my beautiful mate and your future Luna. Please show her the kindness, respect, and love that she is due. She is a bit shy and reserved, so please, give her time to get acclimated to her new life. Yes, Alpha. All right, everyone, eat and drink to your heart's desire. My father announced. He then turned to me. Do you mind telling me why you were late? Leila made an appearance and it caused a misunderstanding between us. My dad pinched the bridge of his nose. We're fine, Dad. I explained it all to her, and she's okay now. He looked at me and then at Sarin, who just smiled and nodded. Fine, but your mother is probably going to want to wring Leila's neck for upsetting Sarin. I hope she does. I wish I could just banish her. She hasn't broken any laws, son, she's annoying as and almost cost me my relationship with Sarin before it even began. Jasper, I said, I'm okay now, just let it go, Sarin says and squeezes my hand. She's right, son. You both go sit down and eat dinner, I'm sure Sarin must be starving. I took Sarin back to our table, and once an Omega brought us our plates, Sarin wasted no time in digging in. She was so happy being able to eat on her own accord. I'm pretty certain this was the first time in the last 8 years she's been able to eat 3 meals back to back. After we both finished eating, we went around to all the tables so Sarin could introduce herself, and almost everyone who met her was excited and happy she was here. Younger pups came up and hugged her, and those that were in wolf form bowed their heads in respect. Although I had to put some males in their place for staring at her with lustful eyes, they easily turned their gaze and apologized. They couldn't help it though. Sarin may be my mate, but she is still unmated and unmarked, and that was going to be a problem for a little while. When we got around to the final 2 tables, it just happened to be the table where Leila and her group of annoying friends were sitting. Sarin tensed a little when she saw that it was Leila, but I put my arm around her waist, and helped her through it. Good evening, ladies, I greet them. Good evening, Alpha, they all said, except for Leila. She was staring daggers at Sarin. I would like you all to meet, Sarin. Good evening, Luna, they all said, except for Leila again. Good evening, it's a pleasure to meet you all, Sarin said sweetly and sincerely. Even with Leila being an utter asterisk and completely disrespectful, Sarin was calm and cool. Luna, may I ask how old you are? I just turned 18. Oh wow, Luna, you're really young. I seem to get that a lot tonight, Sarin said with a small laugh. I love your dress, Luna. Thank you. My name is Michelle. Oh, well thank you, Michelle, Milan actually helped me pick it out. Oh, no wonder. Milan has a great fashion sense. I sure do. Milan said coming up to us with Jason by her side. Good evening, Gammas, the table greeted them. Leila just crossed her arms and sneered. Leila! Jason shouted. Did you just sneer at us? No, Gamma, I was just... Babe, stop, she's probably just a little hurt now that Jasper is off limits, Milan said, rubbing salt in Leila's wounds. Leila scowled at Milan. Scowl all you want, Leila. Everyone in this pack knows that you've been pining over the Alpha ever since he slept with you, which I will never understand how that happened no matter how drunk he got. He is off limits now, understand? Yes, Gamma. Good, she turned back to Sarin and me and winked. I'm ready for some dessert, are you? She asks us. I looked down at Sarin and smile completely took over her face. Good night, ladies. Good night, Alpha. Michelle's POV. As soon as the Alpha and Luna were out of earshot, Leila started to tch and complain. Of all-ing nerve. How dare he announce that little tch as the Luna? That place rightfully belongs to me. Seriously, you're not even his mate, I tell her. Yeah, you need to check yourself before you get banished, Cindy says. I gave up my virginity to him. That has to count for something. No one told you to open your legs for him, slut, Sierra tells her. I've been in love with Jasper since I was 16. I rejected my mate for him. I gave him the best pleasure any wolf could ask for, and after that, it's like I didn't even exist to him. Then a year later, out of nowhere this little premature tch shows up and claims what rightfully belongs to me. She's his mate, you dumb. I shout at her. I heard that he saved her from the Blood Moon Pack, Andrea says. We all look at her. I have a friend who is a pack member there, and she said that Sarin was the lowest Omega there and that she was actually the pack house slave. What? Leila growls. She was apparently a rogue pup that their alpha's father brought in off the streets. A rogue. Jasper passed me over for a rogue. Leila was seething in anger. Andrea, I'd watch what you weigh in front of other pack members. How do you know that your friend isn't lying? I ask her. I mean, why would she? Andre shrugs. Gee, I don't know, probably because they're all liars at that pack. I spat. If this is the same friend that's the alpha's daughter, Emma, then you'd better off not listening to her. Remember how she denied that her father didn't kill the Iron Hollow in cold blood? But that turned out to be a lie. Or how about the time she said that she was betrothed to the Alpha of the Desert Moon Pack in Las Vegas, but that also turned out to be a lie. Okay, so maybe Emma isn't the best source, but still, I don't think she'd lie about the Luna. She's not the Luna. Leila screamed. Oh, my goddess, do you want the whole pack to hear you? Cindy said to her. As I was saying, before Leila's screaming rudely interrupted me, Emma wouldn't lie about Sarin being part of their pack or being the pack house slave. Though, I wouldn't put it past her to withhold key information, Andrea replied. Okay then, let's leave it at that, I said. And you, I say to Leila, stay away from the Alpha before you get yourself banished. You, Michelle. Jasper belongs to me, and I will win him back. You know what, if you get yourself banished or even killed, that's your problem, and I want nothing to do with it. Regardless of where the Luna comes from or her pedigree, she's still going to be the Luna, and I'm going to respect her, I say to all of them and walk away. I head back towards the pack house and I see the ranked members just talking and having a good time. I see the Alpha with an arm around the Luna's waist and his hand just right above her HP. Any lower and it would be on her cheek. I could see the way he was looking at her every time she said anything. It was filled with love, want, and desire. Just seeing that made me smile. He deserved to have his mate, and he deserved to be happy. The Alpha was an amazing guy and an amazing leader. Who cares if she is young, or is a low-level Omega? She seemed friendly, and being young meant she could be taught. She didn't set herself on some high pedestal as Leila would. I couldn't deny that I was a little envious of her. Just like Leila, I'm also 22 and have no mate. Which is kind of insane since there are over 800 members in our pack. And just like Leila, I was also in love with the Alpha and had a relationship with him last year, but unlike her, I kept it between us because I respected the fact he didn't feel the same way I did. I wanted what was best for him, and only the moon goddess knows who that is. If he chose Sarin as the Luna of our pack, who was I to question that? I just hoped she would bless me with a mate one day. Chapter 12. Sarin's POV. After the party finally ended, I was exhausted, and just wanted to pass out. Trying to remember everyone's names was going to be hard, but Jasper assured me that not even he knew everyone's names. There was just no way it would be possible, but I was determined to try and remember. Sarin, are you okay? I looked up Jasper and tried my best to smile over the fatigue I was feeling. She looks like she's about to pass out, Milan said. No, I'm okay, I interrupted myself by yawning. Oh, excuse me, I can stay up a little longer. Jasper, take Sarin to bed, we don't want her to overexert herself, Grace said. I'm okay, really. Just then, I yawned again. "Come on, let's get you to bed, dearest," Jasper said and took my hand. I nodded and just followed. I said my good nights to everyone, and other pack members we passed by. "Can we take the elevator?" "I don't think I can go up the stairs," I say to Jasper while dragging my feet behind me. Instead of answering, Jasper picked me up and carried me. Jasper put me down. "I can walk." "You're dragging your feet, Sarin, and I want to carry you." I didn't want to argue. I was just too tired. I put arms around his neck and rested my head on his shoulders as he carried me to our room. When we got there, he took me straight into the closet so I could change. "I will be right back, I need to double check something. You get changed and cleaned up and go straight to sleep, I'll be back in about 10 minutes. "Okay," he walked out, and I heard the door close. I took off my shoes and placed them back into the box they came in. I pulled the dress over my head and hung it back up in the closet. I changed into one of the pajama sets that Milan and I bought at that Victoria's Secret place. I was a little apprehensive about wearing it because it was a silk spaghetti strap that showed a little too much of my c.hest, and the matching shorts were really short. But Milan said that it would make Jasper happy, so I figured I would wear it. After I changed, I threw my hair up into a messy bun and went to the bathroom to wash my face and brush my teeth. Once I was done with that, I went straight to the bed, and face planted onto the pillow. Jasper's bed had to be the most comfortable bed I had ever laid down on. It felt like I was sleeping on a cloud. The pillows were soft yet firm, and the blanket was airy feeling, but still warm. The comfort from the bed and my exhaustion mixed together was making my eyes heavy, but I wanted to wait for Jasper. About 5 minutes later, Jasper walked in and I sat up. He took one look at me and his eyes got really wide. "No. Nope. No way. No, 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 no," he shouted and went straight into the closet. When he came back out, he threw one of his oversized t-shirts at me. "Put that on, I cannot have you sleeping in whatever it is you're wearing. Are you trying to torture me? Is there something wrong with it? Milan said you would love it." "I do love it, that's the problem. I don't understand. Sarin, if you wear that to bed, I will never get any sleep. If you thought us sing made me aroused, seeing you in something is going drive me and blade crazy, so, no, you cannot wear that." "Oh, okay," I smiled at his tantrum. I took his shirt and went back into the closet to change and came back out. "Oh, my goddess," he grunted. "Now what?" "Sarin, where are your pants?" I just scowled at him. Why was he making this so difficult? "I'm tired, Jasper, stop making me change." I stomped over to the bed and laid down facing the sitting area, so my back faced him. Jasper's POV. I nearly had a heart attack seeing Sarin wearing that revealing lingerie. It was so low cut her cleavage was almost too much for me. If I thought I got hard seeing her all dressed up, seeing her practically ached made me even harder faster. I had to put her in something more concealing, otherwise I wouldn't be able to fight the urge to mate with her right then and there. When she went to put my shirt on and came out of the closet, I saw that it covered just above her, and she had taken off her shorts. She got mad because I was going to make her change again, and just went straight to sleep. The moment she curled legs up is when I saw more than I expected to see. I could see her underwear and I just about died. "Baby, please, I can't have you sleeping with no pants on." "Jasper, I'm sleepy, leave me alone." I knew I wasn't going to win this. I did my nighttime routine and changed into my sweats and went to bed. I snuggled up next to Sarin and put my arm around her and brought her close to me. What caught me off guard was that Sarin wasn't asleep yet. She turned around and faced me. "Why are you still awake? I was waiting for you. Is everything okay?" I asked. She nodded and gave me a small smile. "Jasper." "Yes." "Ss me," she didn't have to tell me twice. I pressed my LPS against hers and to my surprise, she opened her mouth first. I gently gave a little tongue to sensualize the KSS, and she returned the gesture. Sarin tasted so amazing. Her essence was sweet and refreshing, just like perfectly ripe strawberries. I don't think I could ever get enough. No girl I had ever KSSCD tasted as amazing as her. Sarin moved her hand to cup my cheek, and that instantly deepened the KSS. This was getting relatively dangerous, because not only was I getting turned on, she was too. I could smell her AR0USAL, and Blade was getting restless. But I didn't want to stop, and, by the way, Sarin was sing me back, she didn't either. I slowly moved my hand from her HP down her leg, and gently caressed her bare skin. It was so soft, and I could feel her shiver against my touch. I love you, Sarin, IM0ANED into her LPS. I love you too, I pressed our LPS together even harder, and found myself on top of her. Her body was starting to writhe underneath me, as I unknowingly dry humped her. My member was rubbing against her, and I could hear her slightly M0ANING at the friction our two bodies cause. "Does that feel good?" I asked her softly, and she nodded. "Do you want me to keep going?" "We don't have to." "No, it feels good, I like it," she said softly. I was hoping she'd want me to stop because if I kept going, I was going to want to go all the way. I moved my KSS to her neck. Her arms wrapped around my neck, and I started to rub myself against her more vigorously. I gently grazed her marking SP0T with my teeth, and by pure instinct, bit down. "Ow!" Sarin pushed me away. "Why did you bite me?" "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." Instinct took over and I found myself wanting to mark you. "Jasper, I told you." "I know, you're not ready." "I'm sorry, it's just, being with you and feeling your body with mine, it just made me lose control," she pouted and turned her back to me again. My loss of control turned our first real intimate moment together into dust. I laid on my back and let out a deep sigh. I turned off the lamp and relaxed. Just as I was about to fall asleep, Sarin turned over and laid her head on my C.Hest, placing her arm across my torso. "I'm still upset, but I want to sleep comfortably," she mumbled. I smirked and turned my body to face her and held her close. I few deep breaths of her scent, and I found myself drifting off. Sarin's POV. "It's been 3 days now, and things are getting a little easier in the pack house. Everyone has been relatively nice, and very welcoming, that is other than Leila and her friends. The only one from that night has been nice to me is Michelle. I don't see her often because she doesn't live in the castle, but she does come by to hang out with other Omegas. Ever since the night Jasper tried to mark me, we haven't really had any more intimate moments like that. I want them, but Jasper is afraid of losing control again, and I honestly feel bad. Callie is hounding me to hurry up and mate and let him mark us, but she won't tell me why. We still KSS here and there when we are alone, and he sees my cheek fairly often. I've started to KSS his cheek in return, and that seems to keep him happy, for now. I still haven't done much around the castle, I really just walk around, and get to know it so I don't keep getting lost. I don't know what happened, but yesterday, I got turned around so badly, I ended up on the opposite side of the castle of where our room is, and it was in an area that no one really goes. Jasper had to send a search party for me, and I got lectured about wandering around alone when I'm not supposed to. The only places I am allowed to go alone is the kitchen, Jasper's office, recreation area, or the library. I've always been into reading since I was never allowed to go to school. I stay in the library most of the day and read an entire book, maybe two depending on the size. While was I sitting in the library on a beanbag chair, I heard someone call for me. Luna? Are you in here? Yes, I got up and peered over the railing from the fourth floor of the library. I'm up here. Oh, hello, Luna. Did you need something? I asked. Yes, the Alpha is holding a meeting for the ranked members, and is requesting your presence in his office. I will be right down. I put a marker in the book I was reading and placed it on its side back on the shelf. I went down the spiral staircase and the Omega escorted me to Jasper's office on our floor. It has been getting easier to go up and down the flights of stairs in the castle, so I'm not as winded when getting to our floor, but still winded. I thanked the Omega who escorted me, and knocked on the door and peeked in. Sarin, come in, Jasper said. I walked in and closed the door. Come here, dearest. I walked over to his desk and he had me sit on his lap. I was still uncomfortable with showing affection in public, but lately doing it in front of Kendrick, Jason, and Milan has been a little more natural. The Omega said you needed me. Yeah, there's something we need to talk about. Is everything okay? I asked. Yes and no, I gave him a suspicious look. Sarin, my father discovered something when you first arrived here, and it's something that I have been meaning to talk to you about, but I wanted to make sure you got more accustomed to living here before I did. Is it bad? Not necessarily, but it's a lot of information, and I didn't want to overload you with it on your first day. I looked at the others and they looked just as lost as I did. Jasper, how about just telling us why you wanted us here? Kendrick said. Have any of you heard of a primordial? A what? We all asked. I'm going to take that as a no. Jasper took a deep breath and took my hand in his. A primordial is a breed of the wolf that is considered to be the most powerful werewolf to ever exist, and they are rare. Only one is born every few hundred years, and most are male, but according to the ancient texts the elders showed my father, if a female primordial is ever born, she is said to be the rarest and will be highly coveted for her blood. Sounds pretty cool, but why are you telling us this? Milan asked. Because according to the texts, primordial wolves are born to two pure-blooded alphas. When Jasper said that, the room became quiet. Wait, are you saying that Sarin is a primordial? Jason asked. That's what the elders are saying. Everyone that knew Iron Hollow and had a good relationship with them knows that Aunt Megan, Sarin's mom, was also an alpha female. Are you saying that I'm some sort of rare wolf? I asked in disbelief. Not just rare, but also powerful. I furrowed my brows and slanted back a little bit. Primordials also have abilities, which is another reason why they are coveted. The female primordial is said to have unlimited powers and have no weaknesses. Her speed, strength, and ability to heal will be unmatched, and especially under the full moon. However, in order for her to gain her powers, she has to fully mate, be marked, and shift for the first time under the full moon. Jasper, there has to be some kind of mistake. I'm not special, I'm just an ordinary wolf, I tell him. I think you're more than special, dearest, you're extraordinary, and I do believe that you are in fact a primordial. You are the only female wolf I know whose parents were both alphas. Jasper's right, I've met plenty of female alphas, but none have ever been mated to another alpha, and at least not in a while, Jason said. What would make an alpha a pure blood? Kendrick asked. I spoke with the elders the other day and asked the same question. They said that a pure blood must have no other species in their genealogy. Purely wolf DNA. So, even a human-turned wolf would disrupt that bloodline, Jason stated, and Jasper nodded. The elders went through both Uncle Mitch's and Aunt Meg's family trees, and everyone on both sides of their families are wolves. There is not a single mixed breed in them, which makes both of them pure-blooded alphas. I was at a loss for words. I knew both of my parents were alphas, but I never expected this. Another thing, my being Sarin's mate is not a coincidence. What do you mean? I ask. Apparently, if the female primordial is mated to pure-blooded alpha, their bond will be the strongest to ever exist. I stared at him blankly. Dude, aren't you a pure-blooded alpha? Jason asked. Jasper nodded. My eyes popped out of my head. Hold on, you said that she has to shift for the first time on the night of the full moon. Milan asked. I did. Jasper, the full moon is in 3 days, she exclaimed. What? I shouted. I looked back at Jasper. Are you saying that we have to mate and mark each other before then, or I have to wait to shift until next month? Actually, it has to be the first full moon after you become of age, which means, if you don't do it this coming full moon, you don't get your powers, he replied. Jasper, why didn't you tell me this sooner? I already told you why, dearest. I also didn't realize how close the full moon was until this morning, which is why I am telling you now. The problem is that once the Luna is marked, she will have to actively take on her role, Kendrick stated. I was no annoyed with Jasper at the moment that I didn't want to be in the office. This is too much, I need some time to think about this. I got up and walked out. I went back to our room and sat on the bed. I hugged my knees and thought about everything. Why are you thinking so hard? This is a lot of information, Callie. But then again, you knew, didn't you? That's why you've been pressuring me to hurry up and mate with Jasper. Well, yes, I did know. But it's not just that, I want to hurry and come out. I want to show the world who we really are, and I want to meet Blade. Why do you get to have your mate and I don't? Callie saying that honestly made me feel bad. I hadn't realized that my reluctancy to have sex with Jasper is preventing Callie from being able to bond with Blade. I pouted to myself and rested my chin on my arms on top of my knees. Did I want to mate with Jasper? Of course, I did. There was no doubt in my mind that I loved Jasper and that I wanted to be with him. But the thought of being a Luna so early on was driving me insane. I didn't know the first thing about being Luna. I knew not to be like Nicole, but that's all I knew. My mom died before she could really teach me anything. Jasper's mom can teach you. After all, our mother asked Grace to be our godmother, did she not? I don't know if I can ask her for such a burdening task. How do you know that she won't be honored to help? And again, Callie was right. I didn't know what Grace would think. I whimpered in frustration and grunted. Sarin. I looked up and saw Jasper standing in the doorway. Are you okay? He asked while closing the door behind him and coming over to me. I let out a big sigh and shook my head. Look, I know that was a huge bombshell to drop on you so suddenly, but you needed to know. I'm not mad, Jasper, I'm just confused. This is a lot to take in. A week ago, I was a slave at Blood Moon, being beaten every day, being called names, cleaning, cooking, bathing in a pond, and starving every other day. I was rejected by my first mate, which as happy as it made me, it still hurt. Then 3 days later, you show up, claim me, take me away from that hellhole, bring me to this amazing castle. I find out that you were my first love when I was only 10 years old, meet your crazy ex-girlfriend, and now you're telling me that I'm some rare wolf that will have powers, but only if we have mark each other before I shift on the night of the next full moon, which just so happens to be in 3 days. Just for clarification, Leila is not my ex. I had sex with her once, and that was it. You know what I mean? I do, and I want you to know that there's no pressure. No pressure? Jasper, if I don't make a decision in 3 days, Callie will lose out on gaining her abilities, which isn't fair to her. But it's also not fair to me since I have to make the decision for the both of us. Jasper just looked at me with pity in his eyes. Jasper, I also don't know if I have what it takes to be a Luna. I don't know the first thing about being one. My mom died before she could ever teach me anything. That's what my mom is for, and that's what I'm here for. Your role as Luna is essentially the same as me being an alpha. And I doubt the moon goddess would allow us to be together after all these years if she didn't think you could handle it. What if I don't want my powers or abilities? What if I want to be a normal wolf? Then that's up to you to decide, baby, this is your life. But I want you to be sure that whatever decision you do make, it's because it's what you actually want, and not because you're trying to avoid it. It won't be fair to you or to Callie if you make a rash decision out of fear or doubt. If you do, you will regret it and it will be too late. I nodded my head. He gave me a quick KSS and left me to my thoughts. Callie, would you be angry with me if I chose not to do this? I would be angry, because you're already deciding based on fear, and our mate told you not to do that. Why are you so afraid? I don't know. Bullsh, T. We share the same mind, so I know the answer, you just need to admit it. My life has never been easy, and I was hoping that coming to live with Jasper and being his mate, it would be easy, but it's not. He's the alpha to over 800 wolves, that's a lot of people to be in charge of. Now, I'm being told you and I are some rare species of wolf, and if we want to unlock our full potential, we have to mate, mark, and shift within 3 days. But you want to mate with Jasper, and you want him to mark us. I can feel it every time he is near us. What is holding you back? What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't pleasure him? That's not possible. You pleasured him plenty the other night when he tried to mark us for the first time. Let go, let loose, and open your legs because you're also holding me back. We were not placed in this world for us to run away from fear or challenges. The Mother Goddess brought us into existence for a purpose, and it would be disrespectful and selfish of you to throw it away because of fear. Why did my wolf have to be so smart and confident? Chapter 13. Sarin's POV. The next day after the bombshell of information Jasper gave me, I decided to talk to Grace after dinner to get her opinion on everything. It took a minute to find her in this ridiculous castle, but I eventually did. Good evening, Grace. Sarin, sweetheart, to what do I owe the pleasure? She said, tapping the seat next to her on the couch. Grace, when did you know you were ready to mate with Uncle Roning? Oh, I see where this is going, she sat and faced me. She took my hands in hers and smiled sweetly. Tell me what's going on. I explained my fears to her about mating, and becoming Luna while leaving out the rare wolf tidbit. She smiled the whole time and nodded her head as I explained my fears and self-doubt. Aunt Grace, I don't know. Sarin, honey, it's okay to be afraid, especially since no one really taught you anything about this. You grew up in poor conditions, and you were treated awfully, and the one subject that really needed a mother's and father's tender touch was denied to you, so I can understand why you are so hesitant. You do. Of course, I was a young once too, but I also had my mother to help me along the way, as well as older siblings. Sarin, there is really no guide, because it is different for everyone, especially your first time. But Jasper is experienced in the subject, though I kind of wish he wasn't, as his mother, that's how I think, that's beside the point. My point is, you and your wolf will know when you are ready, and Jasper will take care of you. What if he wants to mark me? Do you want him to? I nod my head. Then, you will know when the time is right, to let him do it, and you will know when you're ready to do it back. What about my being Luna? I'm only 18. Sweetheart, I was 19 when I became Luna, and although our pack was smaller back then, it was still scary, but I had Ronan's mother there to teach me. I will be here to teach you. You will. Of course, I will, she replied and gave me a motherly hug. It was warm and loving, and I could feel myself wanting to cry. Sweetheart, I know that I'm not your mother, but I have known you since you were born. I missed a few years in between then and now, but that won't change the fact that you are still my goddaughter, and that I love you like you are my own. She tucked my hair behind my ear and smiled again. You know, the more I look at you, the more you look like Megan. She had chocolate eyes just like you. You have her nose, her pink L.P.S., and her prominent brow ridge. I smiled at her words. Thank you, Aunt Grace. Anytime, sweetheart, she kissed my cheek and hugged me one more time. I got up and headed back upstairs. As I was climbing the stairs, I thought about Grace told me, about how I would know when I was ready to mate with Jasper and that he would take care of me. I let out a big sigh and made up my mind. I decided to go talk to Milan to see if she could help me. I went to her room and found that she wasn't there. I went back downstairs and asked an Omega to locate her for me. Luna, the Gamma is the recreation room. Okay, thank you. I skipped down the hall and made my way there. When I got there, the door was open, and I could hear laughing and roaring. I peeked in and found that Jasper and Kendrick were playing video games, and Jason and Milan were playing pool. Hey, Sarin, Milan said when she saw me come in. Want to play? I don't know how, I said while walking over to Jasper. I placed a kiss on his cheek, so I didn't disturb him during his game. Hey, baby, he quickly replied and went back to his game. Come here, I can teach you, it's easy. She passed me the long stick and rubbed some blue stuff on the tip. Okay, since you're right-handed, you hold the cue stick in your right hand, about here, she said, adjusting my grip location good. Now with your left, place on the table like this, she said, curling my index finger. And you place the end of the stick under your finger, and use your finger to give it stability as you aim. Okay, I think I got it. Good, now just try and hit any ball for now. Like this. Bend over a little bit, good, now try and hit a ball. I aimed, and took my shot. That was good, you hit it in the center. I did. Yeah, you're a quick learner. Okay, now on to the actual rules of how to play. Milan quickly went over all the rules with me, and she let me stand by and watch her and Jason play another round. She was STR, Ped, and he was Solids. As they were playing, they went over additional rules of the game, which seemed simple enough to follow. Then it was my turn. Seriously? Are you sure you've never played before? Jason asks me after losing 3 consecutive rounds. Yes. Ah, babe, don't be a sore loser, Milan said and hugged him. Good job, Jasper said and ssed my cheek. I got so caught up in playing pool, that I forgot why I had come in here. Milan, may I speak with you in private please? I ask. Sure, we put our cue sticks away and leave the recreation room. Milan takes me into a corner where no one is around. What's up? I need to ask a personal question. I bit the inside of my cheek and think a minute. What was your first experience? Oh, I see where this is going. You're ready to mate, but you're afraid. I nodded my head. It's natural to be afraid, but there's no reason to be. Especially since your first time is going to be with your mate. My first time was when I was 17, and it obviously wasn't with my mate. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. Everyone that I know that has lost their virginity to their mate has told me it was the best experience of their life, so I think you're going to be fine. How do I, let Jasper know I'm ready? I can't tell you how, that's going to be on you, sweetie. Every couple is different, I slumped my shoulders. Sarin, sex isn't black and white, and it's never the same for any two couples. Everyone's experience is always going to be different, and how you go about it will be different too. You will know, just trust your body and trust your heart, I smiled and nodded my head. But, I can help you prepare for your first time. How? First thing is first, how clean are you down there? She asked pointing to my private area. I cd my head to the side. Do you shave down there? I shake my head. Let's go then, she grabbed my hand and took me to another part of the castle. Milan, where are we going? The spa. There's a spa here. Yup, she dragged me along until we arrived. Gamma Milan, we are about to close, what can we do for you? The lady at the front desk said. The Luna needs some maintenance done, and she's new to the whole experience, it's also kind of an emergency. Oh, well we have time to help with that, please come with me Luna, I took her hand, and Milan followed us. I was put in a room with no windows, that had a table. Luna, please take off your pants and underwear, and lay down on the table, I did what she said. So, just FYI Sarin, since this is your first time, it's going to sting a little. What is? Milan, you said it was going to sting. You didn't say I wouldn't be able to walk. I shouted while trying my best to walk out of the spa. I had never experienced anything so invasive and so painful. I would rather take a beating than go through that again. Waxing is not an easy job, but look on the bright side, you will only need to do it once a month or so. No, I'm doing that again. You will when you get used to sex, trust me, it's better that you do, I scowled at her. Now what? I asked. Now you go upstairs, take a long hot bath, which will help with the pain down there, and just let your body do the rest. When Jasper comes up for bed, just let your body tell you what you want, and you will be fine. I nodded my head and went upstairs to do what she said. I turned on the water in the bathtub and let it fill up. I let my hair down and put in some bubble bath that Milan gave me and soaked my body. I laid in the tub and thought about how I was going to tell Jasper I was ready without having to actually say the words. Saying it would probably make me chicken out, and I would push him away again. You better not push him away again. We have 2 days to get this done, and I would rather we get it done sooner than later. Callie, I'm trying okay. I'm going to do it, I just need to get over my nerves. Remember, Grace said that Jasper will take care of us, so just let him do that. Callie was right, I needed to trust Jasper to take care of me. He wouldn't hurt me, and I know that is going to make it a good first experience. After my bath, I quickly washed my hair and scrubbed my body to make sure I was nice and clean. I got out of the tub and dried my hair. Having access to everything now after spending so much of my life with nothing was definitely something I was getting used to. I looked at my body in the mirror and a lot of the bruising has finally faded, except for one specific scar. It was a scar that Emma gave me. Emma attacked me with a silver knife 2 years ago because a guy she had a crush on didn't like her back but had a crush on me instead. He knew how young I was, but he didn't care. He asked me on a date, but I said no because I didn't like him that way. Instead of leaving it at that, he kept pursuing me and blowing off Emma. She got so angry and blamed me, that when she witnessed him asking me out again, and me saying no for the 100th time, she tackled me and slashed my HP with a knife. That was actually the reason why Emma was forced to leave the pack house. She attacked me when I was a minor, and because of that, this scar is now permanent. It took a month for it to finally heal, and the only thing I was allowed to do was clean it with warm water and soap. It ended up getting infected, and I still wasn't allowed to have medical help. This scar is a constant reminder of my hatred towards Emma and the Blood Moon Pack. There's nothing I could do about it at this point because it was in the past. I shook my head and just made sure everything else about me was somewhat nice looking. I only hoped that Jasper would like what he saw. I went into the closet and looked at the different lingerie pieces that Milan and I had bought, and I settled on one that was a short dress and decided to skip on underwear. I figured that it was going to come off anyway. When I put on the lingerie dress I hoped that Jasper would like it. I turned off the main light in the room and switched on the lamps by the bed. I figured this would be plenty of light for us. I sat in the bed and waited for Jasper to come upstairs. I waited, and after a few hours, Jasper still hadn't come to bed. I looked at the clock, and it was almost midnight. I felt so defeated, that I just went to bed. Jasper's POV. The guys and I were still in the recreation room hanging out. I hadn't even realized how late it was getting until Milan came to get Jason. "Jasper? Why are you still down here?" she shouted at me. "Oh my god! This is a disaster." "Babe, what's wrong?" Jason asked her. "Jasper, the one night that you decide to stay up late is the one night that you needed to be in your room," she shouted at me. "Milan, what the hell is your problem? And where is Sarin? I haven't seen her for a few hours now." "She's in your room." "She went to bed?" I asked. "Oh my god, this can't be happening, poor Sarin." "Milan, what's going on?" I asked her. "She wanted to mate with you tonight," she shouted. "She has been in your room waiting for you for hours now. You go to bed like clockwork, Jasper, and the one time you decide to stay up late. Ugh. What? God, men are so stupid. Do you realize how much this going to ruin her self-esteem? She was already nervous as it was, and now you made her wait. She's probably already asleep now," she shouted. "Why didn't she tell me? Are you serious right now? She's barely 18 and knows nothing about sex. She's scared out of her mind about it, and she had to build up so much courage to even admit to me that she wanted it. You just turned her first-time fantasy into a complete disaster." I didn't wait to hear anything else and I quickly ran upstairs to my room. Blade kept hounding me to go to bed early, and now I figured out why. Sarin was ready to mate and he could sense it, but I ignored him, and now I probably just lost out on my chance. When I got to my room, sure enough, Sarin was already asleep, and she was wearing a t-shirt and leggings. I looked at the chair by the vanity and saw a negligee. I just hung my head. I was too late. Sarin wanted to mate, and I was too stupid to realize and just hung out with the guys. I rubbed my face with my hands in frustration. I wanted nothing more than to mate with Sarin, but I wanted to wait until she was ready. And the moment she was, I made her wait for me. There was nothing I could do, so I jumped in the shower. I just stood there under the water, and just thinking about what Sarin must have been thinking. I couldn't even begin to imagine how hurt and confused she must be. When I got out of the shower, Sarin was still asleep. She was actually lightly snoring, which meant, I was out of luck. I went to the closet, put my boxers and some sweats, and crawled into bed. I turned off the lamps and snuggled close to Sarin, holding her tight. I felt horrible. I could only hope that I could make it up to her tomorrow and that she would still be willing to give herself to me. Chapter 14. Jasper's POV. When I woke up the next morning, I found that Sarin wasn't in bed. I sat up and looked around and saw that she was sitting in the commons area of our room looking out towards the lake. She was hugging her knees and leaning her head back. I got out of bed, and walked over to her. Sarin, I'm so sorry for last night, I say and sit down next to her. I had no idea that you. I don't care anymore, it's not important. Don't say that. Your first time is very important. I just wish you would have said something. Had I known. Had you known, then what? It would have been like any other time for you then, Jasper. Girls throwing themselves on you and naturally just opening their legs for you. I didn't want my first time being like any other time for you. I wanted it to be special, and I wanted to be able to be in control of myself. And last night, I was in full control. I knew what my body and my heart wanted, and the one time I was ready to give in to what I wanted for once in my life, it didn't happen. I waited for over 3 hours, Jasper. I'm sorry, Sarin, I really am. Don't be, it just means it's not meant to happen. Maybe it's just a sign that I'm not meant to be some special and rare wolf. Maybe we're not even meant to be together. I mean, even as my mate you couldn't sense that I wanted you and that I was ready for you. Sarin, do not say that. We're meant to be together, I know we are. I was just stupid last night. I wasn't thinking. And Blade knew, he knew you were ready, and he was trying to hint to me, but I ignored him. It's my fault. I'm sorry, baby, I'm so sorry. I could see tears in Sarin's eyes. This was the second time that I've made her cry, and it was killing me. Do you know how hard it is for me to love you, Jasper? How hard it is for me to admit that I want you and that I want to be with you. I grew up with nothing, I grew up being told that I'm trash, that I'm worthless, that no one will ever love me, and that I don't deserve to have a mate. She wiped her tears and took a deep breath. I want to have sex with you, Jasper, I want to mate with you, and I want you to mark me, but I don't want it to be like any other time for you. I want our first time together to be special. Sarin, our first time together will be special, because it will be our first time together. That in itself makes it special. I don't want to disappoint you. Hey, I grab her chin to face me. That is never going to happen. I love you, Sarin, and I can guarantee that our first time together will be magical, because we will become one with each other, and our wolves will finally be able to forge their bond. I saw her eyes fill a moment, and out of nowhere, she grabbed my face and kissed me hard. I grabbed her PS and brought onto my lap where she was straddling me. This was the first time I had her in this position, and she wasn't fighting it. Sarin's sing was frantic and heavy, and it was giving me a hard-on. She opened her mouth, inviting me in. I pushed my tongue into her mouth and tasted her all over. Our tongues started to wrestle, and the sensuality of our SS was nothing I had ever felt before. Sarin wanted it, and I knew it. I reached down between us and lifted her shirt over her head, revealing her bare wrists. By sheer instinct, Sarin covered herself with her arms. "Don't cover yourself," I tell her softly. I gently move her arms away and take a good look at her. Her face was flustered, and I could tell she was nervous. "Don't be nervous," she nodded. I cupped her cheeks and SS her again. Once our mouths were back into the rhythm of things, I wrapped my arms around her and placed my hands flat against her back, bringing us closer together. The sparks of our mate bond were making my hands tingle. I stood up from the couch and carried Sarin back to our bed. I gently placed her down on her back and laid on top of her between her legs. I SSCD her PS, her jaw and her neck. Sarin started to M0AN, and I could sense her AR0 USAL. "Sarin, tell me if you want to stop." "No, I want it, I'm ready." I stood up and removed her leggings. I pulled them off of her. I found she was wearing a white lace thong. My eyes then moved to her PS, and there was a 4-inch scar. "Sarin, what happened here?" "Emma attacked me with a silver knife 2 years ago. Seeing that her perfect little body was flawed hurt me." I bent down and SSCD the scar. "Ah, that tickles." Sarin started to giggle. I SSCD it again, making her giggle more. I started to SS her body all over, making her giggle and laugh non-stop. I gently grazed my tongue across her stomach and SSCD her belly button. I then moved my C's up between her mountains and rested my face a little bit. I gently placed a SS on each wrist, making her M0AN in approval. I gently took an pull in my mouth, making her gasp, and her body tensed. I gently caressed her P to get her to calm down and eat on her N pull. I would nibble on it here and there and swirl my tongue around it. Sarin combed her hand to my hair, letting me know it felt good. I moved on to the other one and gave it the same amount of attention. "Ah, Jasper." Sarin, I don't even know when it happened." I quickly got rid of my sweats and boxers and released. Sarin's eyes nearly popped out of her head when she saw it. That's really big." "Wait until I'm fully." Her eyes got even bigger. I laughed and just hovered over her again and placed feather all over her gorgeous body. "You're so, Sarin, this body belongs to me now. It's mine and only mine. Mine to SS, mine to touch, mine to FK, and mine to worship." All she could do was nod her head. "Let it out, baby, our room is soundproofed, so no one will hear you but me." "Ah, That's it, let it go, let me pleasure you." "Ah, what's happening?" she asked. "Let go, baby, your body knows what it wants, just relax." "Ah. Good girl, there you go." "Ah, oh my God, Jasper. That's it. Let your body be overtaken by pleasure, baby." "Ah. Are you okay?" She nodded her head. "Do you want to go all the way?" "Yes," I got into position. "Sarin, this is going to hurt a lot, okay?" "Okay. Scream and cry if you need to, but don't fight me on it. Once we get past this part, I will give you the greatest pleasure you have ever known." She nodded her head. Are you ready? Yes, she slammed her eyes shut. Look at me, Sarin, keep your eyes on me. She opened her eyes and maintained eye contact. She cried out in pain. Ah! It's okay, let it out, cry if you need to, I tell her, and stay in the same SP0T. I didn't want to move because I knew it would cause her more pain. Tears started to fall from Sarin's eyes as she quietly sobbed. SSCD her tears away and placed light C's on her L.P.S. SHHHH, take your time, don't rush it, it hurts. I know, baby, just wait a little bit. She shed a few more tears, and SSCD those away. I love you, Sarin. Just keep breathing. After about 5 minutes, she finally started to regulate her breathing, and she stopped crying. I gently moved my H.P.S., and she winced a little bit, but she didn't make any noise. I moved again, and she winced again, but not as much as before. I knew that the pain was starting to fully subside. Are you ready? Yes, I started moving my H.P.S. slowly, and slowly, I had to be careful not to get too excited. Sarin was super tight as it was, and her inner walls were clenching down on me, making it even tighter. Once I knew she was fully starting to enjoy herself, I moved my H.P.S. faster and faster until she fully writhing underneath me and screaming my name in pure pleasure. Ah! Oh my God! Jasper! Yes, that's right, scream my name as I make you, baby, faster and faster. Your body was made for mine, Sarin, you were meant to be with me. Ah, I love you, Jasper, I love you, Sarin. My dearest Sarin, you are mine forever now. Ah! You're finally mine, I tell her. And you're mine, she replied. Are you okay? That was amazing, yeah it was. I didn't hurt you, did I? Hurt me? Sarin, I never in my entire life. That was the best ex I've ever had. Really? Yes. Chapter 15. Sarin's POV. Jasper. I giggled. After we had X for the first time this morning, Jasper has not kept his hands off of me. We missed breakfast, and I was getting hungry, but a part of me didn't want Jasper to stop touching me. Grace and Milan were right, Jasper took care of me, and made our first time together so magical, that our first time also turned into our second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Why are you pushing me away, dearest? Because, I'm tired, and I'm hungry. I'm hungry too, but I prefer to eat you rather than food right now, he said and pounced on me. Jasper. I giggled again. The bed was a mess, and so was my hair. Ha ha ha. Jasper started to laugh. Okay, I guess I should feed you if your stomach is going to roar like that. Normally I would be embarrassed about what just happened, but after for the last few hours, it was the last thing that would make me uncomfortable. So, tell me, how are you able to go so many times? What do you mean? He asked. I mean, I expected to have X once today, not 6 times in 4 hours. It's because it was with you, dearest. Me? Are you saying that you didn't do this with other girls? Goddess, no, he replied and turned his body to face me, so I did the same. I was one and done, and sometimes, I couldn't even get off. Get off? Why? You seem to have plenty with me. Yeah, because it was with you, I gave him a confused look. Sarin, when a man has sex with the wrong woman, it doesn't leave much for passion or desire. It almost feels like a chore, like doing the dishes or cleaning the bathroom. You don't want to do it, but you feel obligated to do it, so you do it fast as you can without quality. Why do I get the feeling we're going to go on this ride a lot from now on? Oh, because we are. I'm going to get on this ride at least once a day, maybe twice a day until the day I die. I couldn't help but laugh at his answer in amazement, but also a little bit of fear. Jasper, is my body supposed to be sore like this? Yes. Oh, well, that was a quick answer. Dearest, I worked your body into overtime this morning, and on an empty stomach at that. Plus, you were a virgin, and we marked each other on top of it. I'm honestly surprised you haven't passed out yet. You wouldn't let me. I reply and punch him in the arm. I tried multiple times to fall asleep, but he kept waking me up for more sex. Okay, that is true, but I couldn't help myself. You're finally mine, Sarin, and I wanted to make our moment last for as long as I could. And as I said, SE*X with you pumped me full of adrenaline. I'm 26, and I don't think I've ever enjoyed as much as I did this morning. I mean seriously, I didn't know I could keep going like that. I was about to say something to him when my stomach growled again. Oops, was all I could say. Ha ha ha. Come on baby, let's shower and get some food in your belly, I nodded my head. We both got out of bed and took a shower together. The only problem was that our shower turned into number 7 and 8. After Jasper finally stopped trying to get number 9 out of me, we brushed our teeth, got dressed, and went down to the kitchen to get some food. Because we had missed breakfast, there was nothing made. Mr. and Mrs. Williams weren't around, so I decided I would make something for us. I dug around the fridge and found ingredients to make sandwiches. I pulled everything out, and then went to the pantry and found chips. I grabbed a bag and came back out to the kitchen. Do you like mayo and mustard? I asked him. Just mustard, he replied. I made a 3-tier sandwich for him, and cut it in half and served with it some chips and lemonade that was pre-made in the fridge. Thank you, dearest. While he ate, I quickly assembled mine, poured some chips, and a glass of lemonade and joined him at the island. Well, look who finally decided to come down, Kendrick said coming into the kitchen. Hey, that looks good, I want one, he said pointing to the sandwich. Have a seat, I will make you one, I tell him and hop off of the stood. Mayo or mustard? Both, thanks, he replied. I quickly assembled his sandwich and served it with some chips as well. He took one bite and immediately M0ANED. Holy SH, T, this has to be the best sandwich ever. I have to agree with Ken, Jasper stated. You make a mean sandwich, baby, I smiled and was about to take a bite when Kendrick shouted. What is that? He exclaimed while turning Jasper to face him. Why are you always yelling? Jasper grunted. Dude, is that what I think it is? He asked pointing to Jasper's mark. Yes, now off and eat your sandwich. Kendrick looked at me, and then his eyes shifted towards my neck. He clearly saw my mark, and just gave me his signature devilish smile. All right, so Sarin is officially going to the Luna, he stated. She is. I hear Grace's voice. I look up and Grace and Ronan appear, and both of their faces have H.H smiles on them. If they smiled any bigger, their L.P.S. would touch their ears. Sarin, sweetheart, is this true? Yes, I reply shyly. Oh, my goddess! She squealed and engulfed me in the biggest H.U.G. She was H.Ugging me so tight, she has my arms pinned against my body that I couldn't H.U.G her back. Mom, you're going to crush her! Jasper shouted. Grace, darling, You're suffocating the child, Ronan said. Oh, I'm sorry dear, I just got so excited. It's okay, Aunt Grace, I tell her. Sarin, sweet girl, I thought you would take more time, Ronan said to me. Well, I honestly did want to take more time, but Jasper told me something that required me to make a decision a little quicker than I wanted, but after speaking Aunt Grace and Milan, I realized that I was making excuses based out of fear and self-doubt. I reply. I can see that you two have marked each other, and given that you smell like each other as well, you completed the mating process, he said in a questioning kind of tone. I nodded. Sarin, what do you mean by Jasper told you something? Grace asked. It's a long story, Mom, and one Dad can fill you in on, Jasper answered for me. I just smiled. Sweetheart, how do you feel now? Ronan asked me. I can't say that I'm 100% confident about everything, but I can say that I love Jasper and that I have a good support system here. You, Aunt Grace, Jasper, Milan, Kendrick, and Jason. I mean, I've been here less than a week, and this is the first place that has really felt like home since, well, home. Sarin, you were part of this family since the day you were born. I'm only sad that Megan and Mitch aren't here to see what a beautiful young woman you have come, Grace said to me with tears in her eyes. Hearing her talk about my parents instantly brought tears to my eyes. Grace, come on now, you promised you wouldn't do that, Ronan said to her hugging her shoulder. I know, I just can't help but wonder what would have happened had Jasper not gone to Blood Moon last week. Would Sarin even be in front of us? I mean, all this time we thought she died with them, Ronan. It's honestly a miracle that she is with us right now. It really is, Ronan replies. Speaking of Blood Moon, there's something you two need to know, Jasper said. I turned to face him. He wasn't going to tell them, was he? Jasper, I grabbed his hand and shook my head. Baby, they need to know, I pouted, but he didn't fall for it. Dad, Mom, Sarin had a mate before me. What? Who? It was Eric's son, Ash, Kendrick said. I saw both Ronan's and Grace's face shift into disgust. I'm assuming that Kale rejected her, not knowing who Sarin really is, am I right? Ronan asked. We all nodded. The problem is that Sarin had to use her full name and TLE to accept the rejection, Jasper added. Eric knows too. Kale told him, and they attempted to use intimidation and threats to try and get the Luna to reverse her acceptance, Kendrick said. Ash even went as so far to say he loved Sarin to try and win her back, Jasper concluded. This isn't good, Ronan said right away. Darling, what is it? Grace asked him. If Eric finds out who Sarin really is, I mean, who she really is, then this could lead into an all-out war between our packs, he replied. What are you talking about? Grace asked in an annoyed tone. Come with me, darling, I will explain everything, Ronan said and led her out of the kitchen to talk in private. I turned to Jasper and Kendrick and glared at both of them. Don't give me that look, baby, they had a right to know. My dad was an alpha for almost 20 years before giving me the TLE, he's a wise man, and I know that he can help us if Kale even tries anything. But Kale is in the past. Why would he even bother? I scowl. Because he's an alpha who lost his Luna. Granted it was on his own accord, but that doesn't change the fact that you are rare, and if they find out that you're not only an alpha's daughter, but a primordial, then who knows what they will do to take you away from me. From here, I scrunched my face in annoyance, but Jasper was right. Even if the mate bond is severed between Kale and me, if he already reversed his decision, then the bond will still exist for him, and that could be dangerous. Do you think Kale knows that we're mated and marked each other? I ask. If loves you as much as he says he does, he probably felt the bond officially break. However, even then, if his infatuation with you is strong enough, he may still try and win you back. This is stupid, I say and cross my arms. I hope Nicole has burned down the house trying to cook in my absence, I mumble, making Jasper and Kendrick laugh. Well, if they almost succeeded a few days ago, so who knows, Kendrick says. I start laughing thinking about how Nicole and Emma put aluminum foil in the microwave making it explode. So, tomorrow is the big night, are you excited? Kendrick asked me. Excited, terrified, nervous, I'm every emotion there is, I answer. Jasper takes a hold of my hand and gives it a gentle squeeze, giving me some reassurance. After we ate, Jasper had some alpha business to take care of, and he needed Kendrick and Jason, and Milan was out with friends already. I was left to fend for myself, so I figured I would just go to the library and hang out there. Now that Jasper and I had marked each other, I was able to mind link him, and let him know where I was going to be. It was nice not having to rely on other pack members to be messengers. As I was on my way there, I turned the corner too quickly and ended up running into someone. Watch where you're going. I looked up and saw that it was none other than Leila and her group of friends. Michelle wasn't with them though. I'm sorry, I turned the corner too quickly, I apologized. It really was an accident. I tried to get up, but I was kicked down again. I didn't say you can get up. Leila yells at me. I ignore her and try to get up again, but she pushes me to the ground even harder, making my face hit the tile floor. She starts laughing like a hyena. Leila, stop it, one of her friends says. Shut up, Andrea. You're the one who said she was a slave at her old pack, how did they know about that? Slaves have to listen to people who outrank them, and last I check, I outrank her, we all do, she spat. She's the future Luna, stop it, the other girl said. She's is not the Luna, Sierra. I am. I am the future Luna. Jasper belongs to me, she yelled. Either she was blind, stupid, or both. I was clearly marked, and I even smelled like Jasper. The hell he does, I say to her from the floor. What did you say? I gave her a cold stare and positioned myself to get up again. I order you stay down. Since when do you have any authority to order the Luna? I heard a familiar voice. I looked up and saw Michelle walking towards us. She is not the Luna. Leila screamed again. You're a idiot, Leila, Michelle said while helping me to my feet. Luna, are you all right? Yes, thank you, I reply. You backstabbing asterisk. Leila exclaimed. Yeah, what the hell, Michelle? Andrea said. I should be asking you 3ts that. What the hell are you thinking, assaulting the Luna of the pack? Are you trying to get banished, or even worse, executed? I'm doing Jasper a favor. As soon as he sees how weak and pathetic she is, then he's going to reject her. Leila sneered. Really? Michelle said, crossing her arms. That's going to be kind of hard, seeing as the Luna is carrying the Alpha's mark. What? Leila and friends shouted. Michelle turned my body to show them my mark. When I made contact with Leila, her eyes had gone dark in anger. Leila, calm down. Sierra shouted. Jasper marked her. She's bearing his mark, she snarled. This asterisk was about to shift, and I could feel Callie wanting to come to the surface. Callie, we can't. It would ruin everything. This asterisk clearly doesn't know who she's dealing with. Callie, stop. I had to use all of my willpower to keep Callie down, but Leila had no intention of doing the same with her wolf. Luna, go, let me handle her, Michelle said and pushed me behind her. Stop her! Leila shouted, and Sierra and Andrea grabbed my arms to keep me from running away. I tried to mind link Jasper, but I was met with a block. His meeting. I wasn't fully Luna yet, so I wouldn't able to mind link any of the others or Milan, or even Grace or Ronan. Let go of me! I shouted at Andrea and Sierra, but they didn't listen. Another con of not being fully Luna yet. Someone help me! I shouted at the top of my lungs, but we were on the side of the castle where no one ever really came. Which made me wonder why Leila and her friends were there in the first place. You better think really hard about what you're about to do, Leila, Michelle tells her, and her claws come out. I'm going to kill you both. That's what I'm going to do. Leila snarls, and she starts to shift into her wolf. Michelle starts to shift too, and I'm horrified at how fast they can shift. Well, them being a few years older, I'm sure they've had a lot of practice shifting and have mastered it. Callie was still trying to fight to shift, but we had to wait. The look on the other girls' faces was pure evil. They were both smirking and enjoying their two friends were about to have a showdown in the middle of the narrow hallway in the castle. Are you two seriously going to just stand there? I shouted at them. Shut up, rogue! Andrea said. I'm not a rogue. That's not what Emma Patterson says, she replies. Emma? This asterisk knew Emma. Emma doesn't know anything about me. She knows enough and told us everything. How her dad brought you in off the streets, that you were the slave to her pack house, and how her brother rejected you as his mate because he was disgusted by you. I was about to respond when Michelle and Leila started to fight. The last time I saw two wolves fighting was the night my parents were killed. Seeing them fight brought back so many horrible memories that I didn't even know what to do. Stop it! I scream but no one listens. I try to fight the grip against Andrea and Sierra, but it's no use. Their grip progressively got tighter. Let go. I couldn't understand why they were just standing there watching their friends try to kill each other. At one point in the fight, Leila got the advantage and rammed Michelle so hard she knocked all of us over. The sheer force of the hit made Andrea and Sierra lose their grip on me. I got up to try and run, but I was stopped by Leila's wolf. She snarled at me and snapped her teeth. She was seriously about to try and kill me. The look she had in her eyes was the same look Eric's wolf gave me when he found me. Contemplation. To kill or not to kill? The fear from that night came rushing back and I found myself cowering to the floor and screaming. Leila was about to pounce on me when Michelle rammed Leila in return. Leila swiftly got up, and was about to charge at Michelle again when there were voices. I got up to try and run, but I was stopped by Leila's wolf. She snarled at me and snapped her teeth. She was seriously about to try and kill me. The look she had in her eyes was the same look Eric's wolf gave me when he found me. Contemplation. To kill or not to kill? The fear from that night came rushing back and I found myself cowering to the floor and screaming. Leila was about to pounce on me when Michelle rammed Leila in return. Leila swiftly got up, and was about to charge at Michelle again when there were voices. Shift back. We need to get out of here. Sierra shouts. Leila immediately shifts back and stares daggers at me. This isn't over, rogue. I will have Jasper, she and others take off. Michelle is still in wolf form and looks to be perfectly fine. She huffs and is still snarling as Leila and the others run off. As I am about to thank her for sticking up for me, I hear Jasper call my name. Sarin, he immediately pulls me away from Michelle. Shift back now, he commands Michelle. She whimpers and begins to shift back. Michelle. Alpha, she bows her head. You dare attack your Luna? What? No. Alpha, I wasn't. Jasper, that's not, I tried to explain, but before I could seize her, out of nowhere, Kendrick and Jason run up and grab Michelle. No, wait. I wasn't attacking the Luna. I swear. Jasper. Don't, she didn't. Baby, are you okay? She didn't hurt you, did she? No, she didn't, but you need to listen to me. Come on, I want to get you checked out by the doctor. Jasper. I'm fine. Stop and listen to me. Michelle. Can't hurt you, I'm going to make sure of that, now come on, he said, pulling me away. Jasper, shut up and listen. I screamed. He stopped and turned around. I let out a heavy breath in irritation. Michelle didn't attack me. Then why was she in wolf form? She was protecting me. Protecting you? From what? From Leila and her friends. Leila. Yes. Just before you arrived, Leila and her friends ran away, leaving Michelle in wolf form. He just looked at me confused. Jasper. Don't punish Michelle. I snapped at him. I watched his eyes glaze over, and I knew he was mind-linking Kendrick and Jason to release Michelle. Jasper, I get that you were worried when you saw her in wolf form and snarling, but it wasn't directed towards me. Your tunnel vision almost hurt an innocent pack member, I snapped at him. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Don't apologize to me, apologize to Michelle. Okay, I will. I watch his eyes start to glaze over. Not through mind link. Face to face, he paused and looked at me. I glared at him. Okay, let me have Kendrick bring her back. No, you're going to tell him to take her home so she can get dressed, and then you're going to have him escort her back to your office. I cross arms and glare at again. Sarin. Do it, he hung his head and nodded. I watched his eyes glaze over, and I knew this time he was mind-linking Kendrick to do as I said. After that was said and done, Jasper smirked at me. I dropped my arms and looked at him. What's so funny? Look at you, being a Luna already. Excuse me. You know, seeing you in full Luna mode just now and commanding me to right a wrong really turned me on, he said and hooked his arm around my waist and brought me close to him. Jasper, focus. I shouted and smacked his chest. Ow, he pouted. I had to admit, seeing him pout made him super cute. I scoff at his reaction and turn my cheek to keep myself from laughing. Dearest, he pinched my chin and turned me face to look at him. Sarin, don't be mad at me, and he pouted again. Stop that! I shouted and hit him again. Stop hitting me, he said and poked my side. I giggled when he did that. Hey, I see where you're ticklish, and he started to poke my sides. Ah! Stop it! I'm trying to be mad at you. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! We laughed together. I started to poke him in return, but I got nothing. Sorry, but I'm not ticklish. Everyone is ticklish. Not everyone. I started to tickle him all over, but I got nothing. That wasn't a good idea, however, because he did it to me in return, and unlike him, I'm very ticklish. Ah! I shrieked and laughed at the same time. I turned around to run away, but he grabbed my PS and continued his tickle assault. Jasper! I shrieked again and kept giggling and laughing. Jasper laughed with me. This went on for a few minutes, and I had completely forgotten why I was mad at him. Hey, Kendrick is back with Michelle, let's go so I can apologize. Then you two and tell me what happened with Leila. She's not important, she can go to hell for all I care. Michelle did nothing wrong, so she deserves a proper apology from you and a thank you from me. Come on, Jasper took my hand, and he led back to the other side of the castle. Leila's POV. I watched from my hiding place as Jasper had Michelle taken away. I was ecstatic at first, I figured I could use her as scapegoat, but my excitement was cut short when Jasper immediately turned his attention to Sarin. Asking her if she was okay, wanting to take her to the hospital to get checked. She wasn't even injured. Why was he making such a big deal about it? Then, Sarin had to open her big mouth. She stood up for Michelle, and then implicated me. Andrea's friend Emma was right, that asterisk didn't know when to shut up. She needed to be put in her place. I watched and listened as she shouted at Jasper to shut up and listen to her, and then basically commanded him to apologize to that backstabbing cunt, Michelle. I figured that would piss him off. No one told Jasper what to do. What's so funny? Sarin asked him. Funny? Jasper was laughing. His back was turned to me so I couldn't see what he was doing. Look at you, being a Luna already, he said with happiness in his voice. I couldn't believe it. Excuse me. You know, seeing you in full Luna mode just now and commanding me to right a wrong really turned me on, he said to her. A turn on? He was turned on by her disrespectful attitude. I couldn't believe it. What was happening? Why wasn't he punishing her for being disrespectful and rude? Why did he just call her Luna? He couldn't possibly actually accept her as his mate, could he? Just then, I heard them laughing, the sight before my eyes made my blood boil. They were playing. Jasper was playing like some kind of child, and he was actually enjoying himself. He was laughing. Sincerely laughing. His smile when he turned around and faced my direction. It was wholehearted, and not fake. He never smiled like that with me. What did he see in this Omega that he didn't see in me? I was about to come out of hiding so I could confront him, but then I remembered that Sarin implicated me in the attack he originally blamed Michelle on. I couldn't show myself. Hey, Kendrick is back with Michelle, let's go so I can apologize. Then you two and tell me what happened with Leila, he says, and they stop playing around like immature children. She's not important, she can go to hell for all I care. Michelle did nothing wrong, so she deserves a proper apology, from you and a thank you from me, not important? That asterisk just said that I'm unimportant. Come on, Jasper replied and took her hand. I watched as their fingers interlocked, and he just smiled at her. Just as they turned to leave, I saw it. No, I whispered to myself. Jasper was marked. He was bearing her mark. Her mark. I couldn't believe it. Jasper let that WE mark him. I was seething in anger. I was nothing to him. I actually meant nothing to him. I gave him my body, my soul, and my heart, and this how he treats me in return? No, I won't allow this. Jasper was mine, and only mine. I needed to get rid of Sarin and take back Jasper. You'll see Jasper, once that TCH is gone, you'll come to realize that you and I are made for each other. Just wait and see. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.